Dun dun. What's up, guys? Sandman here. Been playing with a new build. Not even really a build, but just some new gun combinations. And I've been enjoying it so much over the last few days that even with the total lack of really anything to do in this game, I thought it would be cool to show them to you guys, kind of give you guys a rundown of like how this works and the different combinations and just what to look for, really, because you can do this I call it a build. It's not really a build, it's just using certain weapons, but you can do it on every single class, which to me makes it worthwhile. Second thing to keep in mind, these are not the best guns in the game. You probably won't want to take a Deadless Cole into a raid. It's probably not going to do you very much good. But with that said, there's other combinations, and I'll go through those as we go along. There's really only one simple rule to this entire build. Only one rule. Every weapon you equip, make sure it has this right here. This is all you got to look for. Auto-loading holster. This can fall on... There's multiple hand cannons I've seen it on. The best one I've found so far, and the reason I'm using 10 paces is not because 10 paces is the best hand cannon. By far, it's not. But it works amazing for this build because of it's got auto-loading holster and timed payload, which of course makes headshots just that much easier to get. You don't need them for this build though. This is not the lucky pants where you got to hit headshots and get around into the next gun. Don't even need to worry about that. Because as soon as that thing gets down to about one round or so, simply switch to the next. Guess what? Same shit. Auto-loading holster. So while I'm using this one's reloading. It literally takes about a second and a half. You'll hear a click. You can audibly hear it go as soon as it loads. This one is the exact same thing. And I found this on rocket launchers and grenade launchers. So you just find the one that has it, and that's the one you're going to want to use. I don't think a lot of people, I know I didn't, maybe I'm just an idiot and I didn't realize this before I, spent hours and hours and hours in this game and really loving the Titan SMG build with the pants that make it where you can just switch weapons and it reloads. And I thought that build was so amazing. I wished I could have had it on other stuff. I found a way to have it on other stuff. Now when I go into strikes and raids, a lot of times I'll either switch to the Badlander, which... yeah, it doesn't have the highest impact, doesn't have the greatest range, and all that kind of stuff. This thing fires so fast. You can literally unload all 8 rounds. I mean, I think it comes with 7. I have a mod on it that gives it an extra round. You can unload all of them incredibly fast. It's just pop, 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 pop. When I go up, I usually use this against gold bars. So like a gold bar knight. I can take him down in one magazine. Just pop, 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 and he drops. If I'm in something where I'm going to be more spread out and I need a little bit more range, I will switch to a bow. And you can use any bow. And you can combine this with any, you could put a bow in your top slot. You could, well, I don't know if they have a third, I don't think there is a power weapon bow, but you can switch to a bow and you don't need to worry about reloading, of course. So you sit there, you fire off everything close with your hand cannon. It runs out of rounds. Put it in your pocket. Pull out your bow, pop off the enemies who are far away. By the time they close in again, guess what? That thing's reloaded. When you consider the drop in DPS, if you're really looking at this and saying, okay, but how is this going to affect DPS? They're not the best weapons in the game. There's other weapons that can hit harder and stuff like that. Yes, but look at the actual DPS for, say, 2 magazines worth. In the time you can fire off 2 magazines from 2 of those weapons, I can fire off 4 from these weapons. Now, you telling me those weapons do twice as much damage? That doesn't make any sense. We know that's not the thing. Everything in this game is scaled very, very close. There's very few weapons that really stand out so far above it, and most of the ones that do are weapons like the Crimson, where if you get headshot kills, it reloads the magazine. The Sturm and the Strang or whatever. If you kill with one, it reloads the other. That's the best weapons in the game, are these weapons that affect the reload speed, because you're able to continuously put bullets down range, and you know how the enemies work in PvE. This is all for PvE. I do not play PvP, so please don't. Well, this would never work in the Crucible. Well, actually, I think it probably would. It worked really good in Gambit, and I took down multiple Guardians yesterday with it. So, say what you want. What you really got to look at is that load time. You're completely eliminating that. There is no more load time. Now, it will depend on if you have these set up. Like, you can get caught. Like, say I'm running this right here, right? One of my favorite setups. One of my favorites. Because usually what I'll do is when you look at a room of PvE, you have a bunch of little red bars, and then you'll have like maybe 1 or 2 golds. So what I do is I don't even look at those golds. I use the pistol, pop shot, headshot every one of those reds, and even if I can't shoot them in one shot, it's explosive payload. So I get them in one shot. And so I'll clear all those base ads, and then I can switch, I can switch to my shotgun and just head first into the heavies, and it's no problem. The problem you can run into is if you have too much space, of course, and like I said, you just got to know what you're about to get into and what setup is going to fit you best. Like in something where I need to keep distance, or there's not going to be, it's just going to be an overwhelming number of enemies, and they're all little enemies, I'll probably stick with this. I'll probably run that right there, and that way I can just go hand cannon to hand cannon. Because this thing, while it doesn't have explosive payload, and you're not going to body shot, you barely do any damage on a body shot, something about this weapon it'll one-shot Cabal in the head. If you hit him in the head, it's a one-shot. The thing's awesome at headshots. If you can get him, it's a little bit rascally, I guess, compared to that right there. Like I said, knowing your distance, knowing how far the enemies are going to be away, that's how you're going to determine what you're going to play in there. And I'm sure there's a lot of other weapons that have auto-loading holster on them that I haven't found. There's multiple SMGs that I have on some of my other builds that I use for like my Titan and my Warlock. I have an SMG that auto-loads here, and then I'll have a shotgun that auto-loads here, and then a rocket launcher. Usually I use the same one. But that's the gist of it. Like, there's no, like, you don't need anything here. You can use whatever you want. Like, with this guy, he's hand cannons, he's mid-range to in close the entire time. I'm going to be ducking and dodging and flipping. And I like to use him in strikes and stuff. And in strikes, you need to be able to heal yourself whenever you need to. And so what I do is I sparingly use his melee or his dodge. I always try and make sure I have either one or the other, which is very easy to do. You always either have dodge, or you just dodge next to an enemy and suddenly you have melee. You don't have melee, or you don't have dodge, but you have your melee, well, melee that enemy. Boom, now you have dodge. Like always try to keep one of those to heal yourself on this build. Of course, Warlocks have Devour, Titans have where they can just hit things and heal themselves or whatever. So it's really down to your style of play. That's the only reason I have this piece here or any of this stuff. This is the only thing that matters. So that's the build, guys. I just wanted to give kind of an idea. It's really simple. It's not something, a baby couldn't have figured out, but I don't think a lot of people have even tried it. And that's what I would say. Is because, like I said, it's not the best weapons in the game, so people aren't even trying it. But I'm telling you, even just my kills and strikes, I went from being one of the guys who got, maybe 50 to 75 kills in a strike, and, there'd be the other guy who only gets 20 or 30, and then the guy who's pushing everything who gets 100 to 150. I'm now the guy getting 100 to 150 because I'm never reloading and I'm constantly pushing forward. This is even more powerful on my Warlock because, of course, I can perk Devour, and then all I have to worry about is continuously firing, which is no problem. So yeah, that's the idea, guys. There's no use in me ranting about the build anymore. I just wanted to show it to you guys and kind of give the subs a little try this out. If you're bored in Destiny and you just happen to have some of these, which you can, of course, you can always go look in your collections. A couple of them can be found in collections, and I can almost guarantee you will have these weapons. This isn't like, if you played from the beginning of the game, I guarantee you have that weapon right there. I guarantee you have that weapon if you played at the beginning of the game. If you have played any of the seasons, really, from season 2 to 4, I guarantee you have the Badlander. Which I'm looking for. There it is. Yeah. Now, the Badlander is That's not the right one. Where's the right one? There should be 2 of them on here. I swear they keep changing this menu because I actually got my last Badlander from in here and now it's not even on here. It's the same thing with a couple of the SMGs that I got that were auto-loading holster. But I don't know, it seems to be different like all the time. See, there we go, that right there, oh, that's fully auto. Okay, that's not it. There you go, auto-loading, the retrofuses. Yeah, that's a guaranteed auto-loading shotgun. Now, it doesn't fire as fast as the Badlands does, but it's a really good shotgun. Its handling and stability are actually a lot better than the Badlands. And that's like a year 2 weapon, I think. That's a Crucible shotgun, I think. So it's like... You can find these weapons everywhere, and they have them, like I said, I found them in sniper rifles, I found them in shotguns, I found them in grenade launchers, and fusion rifles. I actually have a fusion rifle in my stash that has it on it. And that's all you really need to do is you go through here if you don't have any in your inventory. Look, boom, there you go. Auto-loading holster. That's all you got to do. Find them in here with auto-loading holster on it. There's not a lot of them. There's another one, Nox Viners or whatever. But there's enough that you can get a choice of what type of weapon you don't have to use hand cannons. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to use a hand cannon and a shotgun. You don't have to use any hand cannons. You could go a bow and a shotgun. You could go 2 shotguns, however you want to do it. Just that's what you need to look for. Is just make sure it's got that auto-loading holster on it. You're good. And like I said, there's grenade launchers that have it also. I know the Zenobia is the one, I've gotten this one a lot, like multiple times with auto-loading holster. But it looks like it's one of those that like, see, I don't know, because you can buy it there, but it only says quick draw, but you can get it, you can't get it there, and that's probably the one that has it, the random, so I don't know. But I guess that means pretty much anything that lands with random rolls could have an auto-loading holster. Yeah, see, Scorpio D has auto-loading holster. So there you go. There's two options right there. Well, one option visually, but I know that the Zenobia can land with auto. I have it like right now on me. See, auto-loading holster. So it's just a random drop on some of them. So it's something to watch out for if you get a weapon, even if it's not something you would typically use. If it has auto-loading holster, throw it in your stash, because you may want to do this build once you're like, you're tired of dying in the middle of reloading, which happens a lot more than you would think. A lot more than you would think, especially if you don't have cover. You know, and it comes down, you know, I can't imagine what somebody who's really got skill in the Crucible could do with this in there. You know, how many times have you been in hand cannon gunfights with another guy with a hand cannon and you run into that area where you got to reload? I mean, problem solved, son. But yeah, so that's going to do it for the explanation. The rest of this, I'm going to let the stream go, and I'm going to play for a little while. I noticed I did get a comment, and so I want to look at that. But hopefully this build will help you guys. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream and start a new one to play. I don't want to ruin the build stream, if you want to call it that. Like I said, this isn't really a build so much, guys, as it's just a different way to play. Build stream, if you want to call it that. And hey, what's up, 16? And yeah, it's a different way to play, and like I think you guys will have fun with it if you hadn't noticed that like you can get this on multiple weapons, and when you mix it, it's literally like there's exotics in the game that this is what they do. You know, the Titan has his exotic pants. I forget what they're called. Actually, I can look them up. That's literally what the exotic does. You can do it on any build without the exotic. You don't need it. And I just thought that was so cool. I had to bring it to you guys. Had to show y'all what I was talking about. Yeah, the Peacekeepers. See, it says a number of benefits while reading. What it really does is every time you put an SMG away, it reloads it. Yeah, see, reload stowed submachine guns. So if you run with 2 submachine guns, you can do this same thing on a Titan. But you have to run submachine guns, and you have to use this exotic. And I don't think people are realizing, I think they're probably seeing that and thinking, okay, well, that's probably the way to do that. You don't need that at all. You can just run weapons with auto-loading holsters. There's enough of them for literally every spot. And it works really well. It works really well. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'm gonna kill this stream 'cause like I said, it's just kind of like a sort of build stream, like, hey, this is how you do this. And I'll actually be back on stream in about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna be playing some Destiny. So come hang out. Sandman out.